Hey friends, happy Saturday. It's Carrie from Stretch Cheat, and we're gonna do some stretching today because it's Saturday. It's 9 a.m., which means I have freshly drank 8 cups of coffee and I'm ready to go. Let's do this. We're gonna pick a card first to see if there's a more challenging stretch that we can tackle today, see if there's something we can focus on. But by all means, I'm going to help you figure out how to do that stretch in the way that feels good for your body. So if something comes out that looks like there's no way I'm doing that nonsense, then just sit tight because I'm going to show you how to do this from all different angles for what works the best for you. Okay? That's part of the beauty of Ki-Hara, is that we figure these things out as we go and learn how to test the limits of your body. Ew. I picked my nemesis. All right, this is wide angle seated bend. It's a tough one, and I have to say that my hips will not do that. So I really think it's just the structure of my hips, but that doesn't mean that you have to get your chest to the floor or that you even have to get your hands to the floor or into a wide leg split, but we're going to play around with this in the way that feels the best for your body, okay? And working on, this looks like medial hamstrings through here, right? It would be groin stretch to come forward. You definitely would have to have some flexibility through your shoulders here to be able to put your arms up like that. That's it. It's like drawing in a mirror, you know, it's kind of crazy. So there's a lot happening in this stretch. I think we can actually use it to our benefit, even if you getting into a wide leg split and folding down to the floor is impossible. I do know that it's impossible for me. It's just something that I've never been able to do. I'm flexible in all sorts of ways, but that is not one of them. So it'll be good because we'll play around with it on our own. Now, I have to tell you guys also that I decided to upgrade my internet speed because I know that sometimes these videos aren't coming through in very good quality. And as I upgraded the internet speed, it actually seems to be a little bit worse. I have to get a new modem, and that modem will come on Tuesday. So I'm actually going to record this stretching session on my phone, and then I'll upload that later if this one turns out to just be like meh. So if you're in class today and it just doesn't seem to be working, if it conks out on us or if it kicks us off the internet, just recognize that, like, you know, we're kind of at the mercy of the internet right now. And I will upload a better, like, HD version of it after this. It just takes forever to upload an hour-long class. So, you know, hopefully when I have a brand new fast, super fast internet, it'll be better. I mean, there are other things too, like my camera quality and my computer speed and, you know, technology. I usually live in an analog world, but this is life. We're going to pick 3 cards that will also help us to dive in a little bit into our deeper selves during class if you feel like you want a little bit of an extra challenge. So this card is called Letting Go. It's about walking away from things that aren't serving you anymore, moving on into a new path. So we'll see what kind of stretches or what the stretches tell us. I mean, resistance stretching is pretty amazing, you guys. If it's your first time doing this, you might be surprised. But if you've had experiences with the resistance stretching before, usually what happens is that you get this feeling of release in your muscles, and then something crazy happens in your life that doesn't seem related, but might be a little related. So, like, for instance, something like letting go might mean that you do class today, and then you finally find yourself cleaning out the box of stuff that you've been holding on to forever, and you just can't seem to get rid of it. Like clothes from deceased parents, or like toys from your kid's childhood that you don't need anymore, or like books, or, you know, stuff like that. So as we're stretching, we'll kind of explore some of those options, but you might find that something just comes to you later, and that's pretty cool. Also, if this isn't your gig and you just want to focus on stretching, then just ignore everything I'm saying about that kind of stuff. I'm cool with that. You do what you want because you're at your house, and you can sit on your couch and watch a stretching class and not even stretch. I'm okay with that. I mean, you make better gains if you actually stretch. The next stretch we have here is sharing. And this one, you can see this woman is like super abundant. She's got this wonderful plate of fruit and light, and she is able to give to others. So that's actually really powerful, especially in a time like now where we're not really able to take anyone a plate of food. I mean, you could take someone a plate of food, but it's not really what we're doing right now. So how can you access this idea of sharing in some of your stretches? And we'll see what happens there. And let's pick one more. Let's pick one more. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun class. I just hope the internet keeps saying, hey, you just hold on. Oh boy. This is the hardest one for me. It's the moon card in tarot. She's got, the moon there and the stars, and she's like, but you see what the word is? Silence. Oh man. So there will be certain stretches today where I won't talk. I'll introduce the stretch to you, and then we'll just be super silent. We'll see what happens. Okay. This card actually falls into that category as well. So we'll try to find some real peace and quiet in these stretches. Let go, share, and shut your mouth. Quiet, silence. Okay, my friends. One more thing before we get started. I just and I would really appreciate it. All right, friends, let's start stretching. Before, I just want to start the video on my phone. Oh, geez, what have I done? Before we start, to make sure that if we do get kicked off, that we have this as a recording. So just give me a second to line that up. Find your mats. Get to it. If you have coffee, get your coffee. Knock yourselves out. And if you guys are online today, if you're on live with me, give me a shout and let me know. Hey, I gotta change the screen. Okay, Siri, you have to move. She's on the chair. Sorry, guys. Thanks for your patience. And let's get this camera set up so you guys can see me. There we go. All right, let's get to it. You're gonna have to move, unfortunately, my friend, my cat. All right, so we have our right angle seated bend, and we'll focus on letting go, sharing, and silence today. So let's first just explore what this seated bend feels like to you. So what you would want to do first is just come into a seated position where you feel comfortable. And then to find this wide angle seated bend, bring your feet forward. See if that's comfortable. And then bring your hands down to the front, and see how far you can bend over. I don't even go very far this way. I can touch my toes, that's fine. But how far can you go in this position? Then, don't drink my water. Yeah, okay. Then from here, start to bring your legs wide and see where you're at. Now I am already like locking up, cramping. My body is like, what are you doing? I don't know why my body hates to stretch so much, but it does. So let's explore. I feel my lateral hamstring engaging here as soon as I bend over. I feel locked up through here. My hips are not having it. And then that is my wide angle seated bend. You may find that you're completely different. Now, I find this really fascinating in so many ways that sometimes I have people come into my class who will tell me I am the least flexible person you've ever met. And then they can do something like this, but they can't do other things. This for me just happens to be my nemesis. So, yay! So all of other classes where you're like, Carrie can do anything, and this one is not that class. So that's okay. And hey, yeah, oh, let's do twist tie. Yeah, these are exciting. These little black twist ties, we just found a bunch of them when we renovated. Okay, so what we're going to do is lay on our back, and we're going to start off with the stretch for the outside of your hips here into the hamstrings and see if we can open some things up, okay? So lay on your back. Bring your right leg up and grab the outside of your foot with your left hand, and you'll turn your knee in towards your body so that your knee touches your elbow or gets close to it. Your heel will come up to the right. And then kick down for strength and pull up for your stretch. This is for the outside of your hamstring here. You should feel it right on the outside. You kick down for strength, pull up for stretch. And just see how that goes. Kicking down and pulling up. Down for strength and up for stretch. Now remember, guys, if this is your first time doing resistance stretching, or if it's been a while, that you have to follow 3 rules to do these stretching patterns. The first rule is that you move all the time, so notice that I'm moving in this stretch. I'm not holding it at all. The second rule is you resist all the time, so I'm keeping my hamstring engaged, so if I slipped, my leg would kick down and my arm would fly up. And it doesn't matter whether you're going up or down in that case, it's always that resistance. Kicking down for strength and pulling up for your stretch, but keeping tension the entire time. And then the last rule, which is the most important, if you have any pain or discomfort, then you need to either change your angle so that you can feel no discomfort, like maybe being a little further away or using the strap or a towel. Like I have a towel here that I can wrap around my foot, and that makes the stretch a little easier. Or skip it. Just totally skip it. You don't need to do the stretch if it doesn't feel good to you, okay? All right, we're gonna actually revisit this one later, so do what feels right to you. Now, if you're using a strap, switch the strap to your right hand, wrap it around your left leg, turn your knee in towards your elbow, and kick down for strength, and then pull up for your stretch. And you just go back and forth, up and down, kicking down for strength, up for stretch. Down for strength and up for stretch. And if you feel like you want to dive a little deeper into what that stretch means to you, the card we picked for this stretch is sharing. So it might be a good idea to think about what you can share with others as far as gifts go to the outside world in a commerce kind of way. Now it's a funny way to say that. I'm just putting together some things that I know about this fascia line, how it works with Chinese medicine, what kind of tension we hold into the stretch, and how we can relate that to sharing. So by thinking about your job, what you are selling in life, even if you're not working right now, what is it that you can share with others that could give back in return? What can you put out there that will give you some sort of return? That could be a financial return or it could be a monetary return. And that doesn't mean that sharing has to be a give and take, but I think it is important to understand that there is an energetic, when you give, you need to also receive and being open to giving and receiving. I think that's really fascinating. So you can think about that maybe in that stretch. That would be kind of fascinating. I think it's interesting too, and we're approaching this a lot in the Life Renovations course, is the idea of having a unique gift to give to the world, whether that unique gift is being able to give food to your neighbors, or if you're a good cook, if it's that you can sew face masks and give them to people. I have a friend who he works as a doctor, and he made these like UV lights that he's giving to hospitals, and they are able to disinfect their masks using this UV light. It's amazing. So what is your unique gift? What do you have that other people don't have? And can you share it? Can you give it out? It's kind of fascinating. Okay, so bring your feet together. We're going to do our butterfly stretch here. So your feet are together, your knees are open, you're sitting in a place that feels really comfortable, and if you don't feel comfortable in this position, then bring your feet a little further away, or you could sit on a block or sit on a pillow or something, sit on a cushion, so that you can feel a little bit raised up. That's going to take some of the pressure off of your hips. From here, put your elbows on your knees and squeeze in with your legs. And as you squeeze in with your legs, you're going to push open with your arms. So you push open. This is your stretch. You should feel your inner thighs and close it up for strength. And you just go back and forth. We have cat fun happening also. So, it's a double whammy today. You get me, and I'm great, but you also get Surrey, who is super fun and found all the twist ties. Up for strength and down for stretch. And then again, if you want to take this a step further for you, think about what you can let go of. And it could be something physical in your world, like what physically do you need to let go of? Is today the day to clean out your pantry? That was our diet challenge. If you noticed the Life Renovations video I posted it last night, so it's on my page. It was about how to clean out your pantry so that you have more natural ingredients, less processed food. Could you let go of clothes? Could you let go of furniture you don't need anymore? Or emotionally, could you let go of negative emotions? What can you let go of? And you don't even have to come up with an answer right now. Let your muscles do that for you. So as you let go of this tension, naturally, you'll just let go of things. You might find yourself motivated to do something later that feels very much like purging, but hopefully not in the physical sense. Just, purging, like even just taking out the recycling or something. You might find that you want to do that today. So we'll see how that goes, okay? Now the next stretch we're going to do is our wide leg seated bend, but instead of coming forward and folding this way, we're going to actually stretch on our backs. So I'm going to have you lay on your back. We're going to do both sides at the same time. Grab your toes with your hands, your big toes, or you could grab your heels. If you have trouble reaching this, you could take 2 towels and wrap them, or yoga straps or something, and just wrap them around your feet like this. That will extend the range. And so you kick down for strength. And as you kick down, it's kind of like you're going into a frog squat. So you're kicking your feet down. And then as you come into this stretch, keep kicking down with your heels and pull your arms open. I love that. Yeah. Did you fall down? You did. Kick down for strength and pull up for stretch. Kicking down and coming up. Now you may notice that this is the same feeling as that seated bend. And you may notice what your angle is at your hips. That's as far as your body's going to fold towards the floor. So if your hips aren't coming into a really really flexing here and coming in close. Like this is as far as my go, which means that I cannot get to the point where I can actually touch my nose to the floor. And that could be a flexibility issue, but it could also just be your bone structure. So just kind of be aware of where you're at. And then this is one of our spiritual stretches. So let's go into the silence. I'm going to shut up. We can do this stretch quietly. And see if you can empty your mind as you do this stretch to not just be silent in real life outside your brain, but to be silent in your mind. Oh, okay. It feels kind of nice to not say anything for a second. I like this silence thing. Oh. All right, but enough of that. Now we're going to go into a stretch for our quads. So take your towel and double it up a bunch so that you have some good cushioning, and you're going to put your knee on it. So bring that towel up against the wall. Start on all fours and tuck one leg back so that your knee is against the wall and your foot is pushing on the wall. Then you're going to come up into a lunge. Let me just make sure my towel's in a good place. As you come up into this lunge, you want to find a place where you feel really good, neutral, that you trust yourself in this position. And if you don't feel like you can trust this position, then you can regulate it by changing where your knee is on the floor. Closer to the wall will be more intense. Further away from the wall will be less intense. So if you find that you can't get up right here, you're too close to the wall. Bring your knee further away, and then you should feel better in this stretch, okay? You could also do this on a couch, or you could use an exercise ball or something so that you have a little bit more cushion for your foot. That'd be okay. Be very aware that if you painted your toenails, you're going to get nail polish on the wall. So maybe put something under your foot too if you can, okay? There's a lot happening here. When you're ready to do this stretch, push your foot into the wall and push your front leg into the floor. It's like you're trying to straighten both legs out. And your back leg, when it tries to straighten out, will push you forward. Come forward as far as you want, and then use your front leg to push you back, and you push back as far as you want. So you just go back and forth. So your forward is a strength training motion, and your back is your stretch. During 9 o'clock a.m. class, she sleeps through all of class. It's like nap time. But 11 a.m. class, she is here like the whole time. Aren't ya? Push forward for strength and back for stretch. She loves this mat so much that I actually have to clean the cat hair off of it every morning because she just lays on it. I know. Stretch, sorry, stretch. See that? That's called pandiculation. Let's do some of that. So as you're coming into the stretch, reach your arms up. Just like Suri just reached her arms over her head, and see if you can find that deeper stretch. It's sort of like, you know, when she leans and she's like, oh, go into that stretch. And then once she finds the comfortable place, then she lays there, but she's not still in that deep stretch, right? She's in a comfortable spot, aren't you? Yes. So forward for strength and back for your stretch, and feel free to pandiculate as you go into the stretch. That means that you just kind of like yawn and reach and move in the way that your body wants to move. Sometimes just holding on to the wall so that you can get a little deeper into the stretch. Maybe a twist. Maybe you open your arms up. Comfortable. What do you think, Suri? Should we do the other side? Yes. Okay. It's down on to all fours. Bring your legs down. And we're going to flip over. Okay. So take your other leg and put it on the towel. Remember, you can regulate the amount of force you use by bringing your knee further away from the wall or closer to the wall. And then bring your other leg to the front. All right. Push your back leg into the wall like you're trying to straighten your leg out, and the front leg into the floor like you're also trying to straighten that leg out. Got you. Good job, flipping over. And then push with your back leg to come forward and use your front leg to push back. And you just go back and forward for strength and back for your stretch. Play around with it in the way that feels the best to you. And then if you want to take this stretch a little further and put some awareness into our phrase of the day for this stretch, then think about letting go. Ouch! What are you doing? You just want to play, huh? Don't do that. Forward for strength and back for stretch. Find the stretch in the way that feels the best to you. If you want to pandiculate, you can. And if you think about letting go, you could think about letting go of the pain in your body even. Like, what are you holding on to? There are reasons that we hold on to pain. Your body uses pain as a protective mechanism, especially old pain. So what are you holding on to in your muscles? What would you like to let go of? It could be residual pain from like a car accident, or residual pain from a surgery, right? An injury that you had. I had a bad respiratory infection in the fall, and I've had asthma issues ever since. So I have tension in my ribs. I would love to let go of that tension. I don't need it anymore, but my body uses it as a protective mechanism, right? It's a very fascinating thing, the way that our body holds on to tension and for what reasons. And it's basically just a survival mechanism. So we're holding on to pain to protect us from something that we had in the past. And even though that thing is gone, your body doesn't want to replicate that, right? So how do you let go of the pain in your muscles? I mean, of course, by stretching, but then also just by having this conscious awareness of letting go. So let it be, right? Just let it be. All right, so I want to go back into our lateral hamstring stretch because I really feel like this stretch can be the limitation a lot of times in our forward fold, okay? So lay on your back. If you need a strap, go ahead and grab it. Grab your towel, whatever you need. You're going to lay on your back. Bring your right leg in. Grab your foot with your left hand, either with the towel or a strap, or take your left hand over your shin and grab the outside of your foot. You want to internally rotate your femur bone on your right side. That means that you're going to turn your knee away from the computer screen or your phone or your TV and let your heel come out. So everything turns in from your hip. It's like you're pigeon-toed. Then kick your heel down towards your glutes and use your arms to pull you up. Down for strength and up for stretch. And see if you can find that stretch on the outside of your hip here. And as you're doing this stretch, maybe try to come up with 3 to 5 ways that you can share today. Whether you share a meal with someone, maybe you share your energy, maybe you share by making a phone call to somebody, maybe you share by playing music so that your neighbors can hear you making music. By that I mean like on an instrument. Not like, don't just play your music really loud because that's not going to make your neighbors happy. But how can you share? What can you do? I found that sharing these videos with you guys is really the only thing that keeps me sane during this time. I have a set reason to put on new clothes and to like wear mascara every day. Otherwise, it gets really easy not to, right? So go ahead and bring your left leg up and grab that leg with your right hand. So either wrap the strap around your foot, or if you don't feel like using a towel, if you're just using your hands, grab the outside of your foot with your right hand. So I actually reach over my shin to grab my foot. But it's the opposite arm and the opposite leg. So make sure you're using your right hand and your left leg. You're gonna turn in. So if you notice here, my toes are pointing this way. And as I twist in, my toes and my knee, everything rotates from my hip joint and turns towards the computer. It's not a lot, it's just a little bit. And then from here, hold that internal rotation, kick your heel down, and then use your arms to pull back up. Down for strength and up for stretch. Maybe today would be a good day to call somebody in your family and share a funny story with them, right? Because you share jokes. What can you share? You know, it's Saturday. It'd be a good day to call some relatives, share a little love. Down for strength and up for stretch. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Kicking down with your heel and pulling up for your stretch and finding that stretch on the outside of your hamstring on the left side. Good job, friends. Now, just for a test, let's go back. Let's go back to this place where we can find the forward fold. You might find now that it's much easier to fold forward just from some of the work we've done to warm up. I know I just woke up. I mean, I basically got out of bed and drank a ton of coffee, and that's all I've done. So just by doing this work, I can already fold forward more. So go ahead and bring your hands to the floor, and then see if you can find that wide leg split. And how does that feel for you now? Do you feel more like you can fold forward? Do you feel a difference? Like last time I felt a lot of resistance here in my outer hamstrings, and I felt a lot in my groin. But now the strain that I feel is in my central hamstring here. So I know that something's changed, right? What has changed for you? What is different? What would happen if you resisted in the stretch? So bend your knees here, reach forward, and try to kick your heels into the floor a little bit. How does that feel? How would it feel to come back, so straight up, kick your heels into the floor like you're trying to bend your knees in, and reach forward? Can you find that stretch differently now that you're resisting? Up for strength and forward for your stretch, and just reach forward. Nice. See, now I feel a good positive stretch in my medial hamstring. I don't really feel any limits. I just feel a hamstring stretch in the right place, which should be right here on the inner part of your hamstrings, almost inner thighs. Good. Nice job, friends. Okay, let's move on into, I think maybe we'll do some arm stretches next. So why don't you come up into a lunge? Bring your left leg in the front here and your right leg behind you. So you're kind of in a square lunge. And then you're going to take your opposite arm. So this is my left leg. This is my right arm. And I'm going to take my right arm and drop it over my knee. If you can't reach this, just hang tight and I'll show you a version where you don't have to cross over. Okay? So hold here. Your elbow is resting against your knee. Make sure that you push your knee out a little bit to so that you don't collapse your hip in, but give some pressure there. And then grab your wrist with your left hand. So my right hand is here, my left hand comes over top and grabs my wrist. And my arms are pretty much in a square so that you could kind of look through your hands, okay? Keep your elbow bent at 90 degrees and rotate your shoulders so that you come forward and pushing open, pushing the gate open, and then pull towards your back hip. So you come open, this is strength training, and as you pull into the stretch, you pull your hand towards your hip. So you just come back and forth. If you want, you can rotate and look over the back wall. You should feel this in the back of your shoulder here. For those of you who are not wanting to do this twist, you can grab the outside of your elbow here, push open, and then close. Back and forth, okay? This stretch is in our silence category. So I'm closing it up. Be silent. Switch on your own time. Listen to your body, what it's telling you. Try to empty your mind. All right, now let's switch sides. I'm going to talk to help you get into this stretch, but then I'm going to zip it. We'll stay in our silence, okay? So now bring your right leg to the front. Take your left arm and cross it over. Grab your wrist with your right hand and push open for strength. Close it up for your stretch. And you just go back and forth. Make sure you keep this hip protected by pushing your knee out a little bit, just to make sure you don't collapse. Open for strength, close for your stretch. You can look over your shoulder if that feels good to get a little twist. And for those of you who don't feel comfortable, just grab the outside of your elbow and open and close. All right. We've got it, friends. And now, zipping it up. Find your silence in this stretch. Silence in your mind, in your emotions, in your body. Just find some peace. All right. Good job, you guys. That noise that you're hearing is Siri fighting this battle with this twist tie. It's very important. So important. All right, now we're going to go into a stretch for your chest. This is a push-up. Now, I've really been wanting to do this on the wall lately, and it's I haven't been doing it on the wall because you guys haven't been able to see the wall, but now in this new setup, you can see this wall. So I'm coming over here. Okay, ready? Go get it. Come up against the wall, bring your hands nice and wide, and let your body sit far enough away from the wall that you feel like you're falling into the wall. So as I'm standing straight up, I can't reach the wall. I'm about a half a foot away. And then I just pull in here. So I'm actually holding my body weight up. Then from this position, bend your elbows out to the side and let yourself fall in towards the wall, but your arms are slowing you down. When you get far enough into this stretch, then you push right back up. You'll know when you're far enough in because you'll start to feel a little shaky. So in for your stretch and up for strength. This really opens your chest up. So pay attention to your muscles here. Finding this stretch from your sternum, which is your breastbone right here, from your sternum, all the way into your biceps, like coming from the front here, all the way across. If you feel anything in your back or your shoulders or in your neck or even back here, then you can take a break from this stretch. If you guys have done this as a push-up, feel free to do that too if you want both sides of it, or if you want a little bit more strength in this. I feel like I really need to open my shoulders, so I'm going to stay up here. Oh, so good. And let yourself really feel that muscle. Like feel those muscles working across the front of your chest. So good. So good. All right, now I'm going to go into two different stretches, one for the front of your shoulders and one for the back of your shoulders. We'll be on our knees in like a child's pose for this one. So come onto your hands and knees. Let's start with your arms wide in like a V position, or like if you were doing the YMCA dance, you bring your arms over your head like in that wide position. So my hands are actually off my mat. I'm going to pull with my fingertips. That's going to pull me forward. And then I'm going to sit back with my legs while my hands continue to pull. I tuck my chin under. You should feel this stretch in the front of your arms, kind of like in your armpits. And then use your arms to pull you back up. Then when you're ready, sit back. See if you can find that stretch through the front of your shoulders. And then use your arms to pull you up. Keep resisting into your fingertips as you pull back. To find a deeper stretch, see if you can inch your fingers up just about an inch or two forward. Get a little more space in there. That'll give you a deeper stretch. Up for strength and down for stretch. Tuck your chin. That'll give you a deeper stretch as well. And then just go back and forth. Forward for strength, back for your stretch. Good job. Now I'm curious. I got silent because this is one of our silent stretches, and I wonder how you did with that. Just kind of be aware for yourself. Like, did you have a moment where you're like, why isn't she talking? She should be talking. You kind of be aware of what your brain is telling you, or like what this like inner dialogue is like, just by allowing yourself to be in silence. Does that silence give you anxiety, or does that silence feel like a relief to you? Hopefully it felt like a relief that you were able to enjoy that stretch and be in the silence in that stretch. It's kind of a beautiful thing. The next stretch we're going to do is very similar, but it's for the back of your shoulders. Now I want you to bring your hands together. You'll be on the floor, but they'll look like this. So you bring your hands in front of you, and from your elbows through your wrist and your middle finger will be a perfectly straight line. So there's a little bit of external rotation from your shoulders to get into this position. Your shoulders have to be relatively flexible to get them close together, but you can be further apart, and that would be okay. What I don't want is for you to like have like this kind of, you don't want trees that are like going to grow into each other. You want parallel lines, okay? So find a place where you can have parallel lines, even if those parallel lines are very far apart, or even if they're close together. You find what works the best for you, and then we're going to translate that to the floor. So take your trees, put them on the floor, and you'll be on all fours just like this. What you're going to do is pull with your arms, so pull from your middle finger down through your elbows to pull you forward, and then use your body to pull you back. Sorry, what is it? She has a lot to say this morning. You should feel this stretch in the back of your neck and your shoulders, especially if you look towards your feet. And then pull with your arms to bring you forward. Once you're far enough that your toes start to pop up, then pull yourself back again. Tuck your chin. This doesn't look like it should be that intense, but it's a very good stretch for the back of your shoulders and your neck through your traps. So see if you can find the muscle, the feeling of muscle from the top of your skull, like from the base of your skull, let me say that, right here behind your ears, to your shoulders, and then kind of down towards the middle part of your back. It should feel like a whole diamond shape that's stretching. Sorry, What is it? She's very active this morning, way more than normal. So pull back, this is your stretch, and forward for strength. And then just go back and forth. See if you can find that really nice stretch in the back of your shoulders. See if you can feel the strength in that muscle group in the back of your, it's like this huge muscle that goes from your neck down to your shoulders and all the way down into your back. See if you can find it. All right, and then we're going to go back to our push-up. So you can either do the push-up on the floor or on the wall. I'm coming up to the wall. It's up to you. Bring your arms nice and wide. Make sure that your body weight is leaning into the wall. And then very slowly open your shoulders, open your elbows up. Let your body drop towards the wall. And then push back up. So you're coming in for your stretch, feeling this across the front of your shoulders. And then use your arms to open you back up. So you're pushing into the wall with your body, holding yourself from falling, basically. Like you're trying not to fall on the wall. You let your body weight lean forward. Your arms are fighting that force. And then you push right back open. Whew. All right, good work. Okay, so now after doing some upper body work, let's go back and test out our wide angle seated bend. So find your position first where you can lean forward. Open your legs as wide as they want to go. Kick your heels into the ground and pull your arms in front of you. And see what you can find there. Up for strength. And back for your stretch. I'm keeping my legs very active, so I'm trying to push my feet into the ground. And lean forward. In this stretch, to keep your spine from rounding too much, go ahead and look forward so that you kind of have a flat back and you really feel yourself hinging from your hips. Use your legs to push you back up. Nice work, guys. Something a little different today, right? All right, let's see. Now, to get forward in this position, we also need to be able to fold from our hip flexors and stretch out our hamstrings in the center. So let's work on those things. Come up into a lunge with your right leg in front and your left one behind. You're going to kick with your front heel towards your body. So you're trying to engage that hamstring by kicking in here. Your back leg is going to try to pull forward. So use your front leg to pull you into the lunge. And your back leg will pull you back. And you just find the back and forth between this. Back for strength and forward for stretch. It's a nice hip flexor lunge here, right? It's a good stretch for the left hip. This is my left leg in the back. So find that stretch right in front of your hip. And then back for strength. Now this goes into our sharing category again. This stretch is very nurturing, comforting, compassionate. And so if you take that idea into the sharing category, you might think about how others have shared with you in the past, specifically your grandmother, your mother, your aunts, that earthy motherly quality, right? Of the hug from your grandma, right? That aunt that took care of you when you were sick, the nurturing qualities of your mother and how that felt for you and how that was sharing, right? Of unconditional love, really. And see if you can gather that feeling in this muscle, because that's the way it likes to feel. This is the muscle that pulls us into a fetal position when we're sick, right? So if you're having that kind of tension here, a nice way to let go of it is to put that nurturing motherly quality into your awareness during this stretch and let it feel nurturing to you. Pull back for strength. And then forward for stretch, finding that nurturing quality of the muscle. Okay, so let's switch sides. So bring your right leg behind, your left leg in the front. You're going to try to resist by pulling your hamstring. Here, you're going to pull your heel towards your hamstring. Believe me, I know what I'm saying. Pull with this front leg like you're trying to kick your heel to your glutes. But the mat will stop you, and that's going to engage the hamstring here. Then use your back leg to try to pull you back. It's like you're trying to pull this knee towards your chest. And then use your front leg to pull you forward. And find that stretch in your right hip. And then use your right hip to pull you back. You can move in the range of motion that feels good to you. Find the nurturing quality in this stretch. Remember times that really nurturing women helped you in your life, how they shared their nurturing quality or their compassion with you. Pull back for strength and pull forward for stretch. It could have been a teacher. It could have been a friend, right? Sometimes that someone was very nurturing to you, especially in a time when you felt like all you wanted to do is curl up in a ball. That's what this muscle does. It pulls you into a ball. So finding that quality might help you to let go of that tension that's holding on in there. Pulling back for strength and pulling forward for stretch. It feels like giving your whole body a hug. They're like, oh, thanks. I feel good. Right? This muscle will do the work. Oh. Let's do one more just for kicks. This feels good today. All right. Now we're going to work on our hamstrings. So you can lay on your back. Grab your towel or your rope, or just grab your foot with your hands. You can wrap the towel around your foot if you feel like it. Kick down for strength. Engage the hamstring and pull up for your stretch. Down for strength. Here we go. Kicking down, kicking down, kicking down, and pulling up for stretch. You should feel this right down the back of your leg and your hamstring. If you don't feel that, it means that you probably need to do a little bit of problem solving on it. Maybe you should check out my problem solving videos, right? Or some of the stretch by stretch videos. There's a whole playlist for it. So you can check those out. It'll help you open the stretch up a bit if you feel like you're having trouble. And trouble could mean that you don't feel it at all. It could mean that you feel like pinch in the front here. It could mean that it just feels painful or uncomfortable, or maybe you just don't like it. Then it's time to explore those a little deeper. So you can check out that playlist for the problem solving videos. All right, let's switch sides. So wrap the towel around your left foot, or grab the ball of your foot with your hands and kick down for strength and pull up. And I'm pulling over my head. This is the stretch. And down for strength and pull up for stretch. And if you want to dive a little deeper into the stretch, put into your awareness the words letting go and let the muscle do the work. What's the stagnant energy that's in this muscle, in this line? What are you holding on to in this hamstring that you can let go of? And that could be as simple as like I'm holding onto a knot in there, or it could be as like complicated as letting go of grief or a position in life that you don't want to be in anymore, or emotions, or something physical that you need to let go of. Let the muscle tell you, and it doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't even have to be something that comes into your awareness today, but you might find that later today, or maybe in your dreams, you let go of something that you've been holding on to for a very long time. All All right, let's do one more. Kick down for strength and up for stretch. Good work. Now we're going to go into the outside of our hips. So you're going to bring your right leg on top of your left leg and reach through and grab your left leg with both hands. This is a good stretch for our external rotators, your glutes. This even gets into your IT band if you have any IT band strain or knee stability issues. So push with your right leg, like you're trying to bring your right leg to the same position as your left leg. But because your leg's there, it's going to get stuck. And if you allow it to win, it'll push you away. It'll push your legs away from your body. Then use your arms to pull you back in. And here you should start to feel a stretch through your glutes on the outside. Pushing forward for strength and back for your stretch. For those of you who don't know, your glutes are the muscles in your hips, your butt. It's your butt muscles. You should feel that. You might feel the outer part of your leg here on this side. On this leg, it would be like right here, but you feel it on the side that's on top. So forward for strength and back for your stretch. And keep that letting go idea in your head. Every stretch is different. We hold tension in our bodies in really funny ways and in different places. So maybe there's something you're holding on to in this muscle that you weren't holding on to in the other muscles, something that needs to be let go of. Something that's not serving you anymore. So forward for strength and back for your stretch. And let's switch sides. So bring your left leg over top. You'll reach through and grab your right leg. Your left leg is going to push like it's trying to match what your right leg is doing. So the strength training is to kick out. And as you kick out like that, it'll pull your body or pull your legs forward, and then you use your upper body to pull you back in. It's okay if you just move in a small range of motion on this one. You don't have to go very far to feel this stretch sometimes. And again, just pay attention to what you feel. So you should feel it right here in your glute. You might feel it on the outside of your hip. It's okay. Whatever you feel is good. So push out for strength and pull in for stretch. If you feel any pain though, skip it. If this doesn't feel good, don't do it. You can try it again on another day after we've balanced a bunch of things out. Usually the pain is because you have a problem somewhere else. So doing this stretch over and over again isn't going to assist you. It's not going to help. It's not going to make the stretch open up. You have other things you need to do to get the stretch to open. Okay, so if it's not good today, that doesn't mean it won't be good tomorrow, but we'll have to do some other stretches. Okay, so just let it go. Letting go, let it go if it's not working. It's okay to say today is not the day for this stretch. All right, and now we're going to do a stretch for our inner thighs. So you can stay on your back. I'm just going to turn so you can see my legs. Bring your feet up towards the ceiling. If your hamstrings are tight, you can bend your knees. That's okay. Grab your knees on the inside. I have my thumbs pointing down like this. And I'm just going to grab my knees on the inside. I'm going to squeeze with my inner thighs to try to pull my legs together. So I'm really trying to pull them in this way. My arms are going to push open this way. So squeeze in. You might notice that you're a little shaky. That's a good thing. And then open up. This is your stretch. So pull in for strength and open for stretch. Oh, this is an interesting one because this stretch is really, it already is kind of a stretch that holds issues with helping. So if we're thinking about sharing, you might want to think about how you could let go of where you overshare. For instance, being in a codependent relationship. Are you overextending yourself to help other people? Are you helping yourself first? Or do you always let other people take over for you, right? Do you assist other people first instead of yourself? Are you feeling like right now your needs aren't being met because you're having to meet the needs of others? We're in a crisis right now. We're in a pandemic. So this could be a good time for you to just bring into your awareness how you could help yourself first, right? If you consider all the doctors who are helping out the patients, they are covering themselves in protective gear, helmets, they have a whole system of how they put on things and take off things, what kind of protective gear they wear. There are people who need help. There are patients who need help, but if the doctors get sick, they can't help those patients. So they have to take the time to put on all their protective gear, right? Are you overextending yourself and putting yourself at risk because you're wanting to help other people? So maybe take a second and think about that. What can you do to help yourself first? And a lot of times we don't realize that the way that you help yourself is to maybe take 5 or 10 minutes. Like, it's not a lot, right? Sometimes it's really not a lot. Maybe you need 5 minutes to yourself. Maybe you need to take a long bath or a shower. Maybe you need to ask somebody else for help, right? How are you sharing? What's the give and take? Are you able to give to others because you've given to yourself first? That's important. It's definitely important, right? It's super important. So let's go back into our hip flexor lunge. See if we can open up here a little bit more. And then we're going to try our forward fold again. Our wide angle seated bend. So wide with your legs. Bring your right leg in front here. You're going to engage your right hamstring to pull you forward, but you're also going to engage your hip flexor on the left to pull you back. So there's scissoring in motion on both legs. Your front leg pulls you into the stretch. Your back leg will pull you out of the stretch. So pulling forward and back. You can go as deep into the stretch as you feel like you want to today. And then pull back, pull all the way back. No matter how deep you go into the stretch, you should always be able to pull yourself back. So if you don't feel like you can get out of this lunge, you've gone too far. If you find yourself putting your hands down in the lunge, like if you get down here and you're like really trying it out, could you lift your hands up and pull yourself back up? If you can't, then you shouldn't have your hands on the floor, right? You've gone too far. So take yourself as far as you can go into the stretch, but you still feel confident that you can get back out of it, okay? Take your time through it. Forward for strength. Forward for stretch. And a back for your strength. All right, and we're going to switch sides. So bring your right leg behind, your left leg in the front. Engage your hamstring in your left leg and use your back leg to pull you forward. So my hamstring here is going to pull me into the stretch as deep as you want to go into it, and then use your back leg to pull you back. Make sure that you can always resist both ways. So as you come forward into the stretch, you feel the stretch in your right hip, and as you pull back, your right leg engages. This shouldn't feel complicated. If it feels hard, you've gone too far. Maybe you need to move in smaller ranges of motion. You just go back and forth. Back for strength, forward for stretch. And allow yourself now to think about remember how we thought about like the nurturing hug, the mom, the aunt, the grandma, right, before? Now make that nurturing person yourself. Take care of yourself first so that you can take care of others in the best way. So as you're in this stretch, notice that you're taking care of yourself, you're nurturing yourself. You are full of abundance so that you can give it to others. All right. Now, our wide angle seated bend. Bring your legs wide as they want to go. Find a place where you feel good. Bring your hands to the front. Kick your heels down into the floor and use your upper body, I'm kind of like trying to push my arms forward to lean forward. Your heels are kicking you down. So I'm trying to kick my heels into the ground, and then I'm going to push up for strength. I'm using my legs to push me up. I have a slight bend in my knees here so that I can contract my hamstrings. And find that wide angle seated bend that works the best for you, working in the range that feels good. Okay. Forward into your stretch and back for strength. Nice. Good job, guys. We're keeping really strong through our inner thighs, through our hamstrings. Fantastic. So we worked today on wide angle seated bend, as you know. We worked on letting go, on sharing, and on being in the silence and what that all means to you. You guys know what it means to you. Your muscles especially know what it means to you. And I hope this is a good day for you guys. Now, I just want to reiterate again, if you guys feel the need to exchange some I'm so happy that you are here today. I hope you got something out of class. Let me know, and I will see you guys soon. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 9 a.m. All pre-recorded so you can watch them later. Okay, friends? All right, I'll see you later. Have a great week.